Sweat tent versus Kayf. Are they the same thing? Is one better? I've been using both of these for a while now. And I want to break down some of the similarities, some of the differences, and then which one I personally would choose. And of course, if you want to get either of these, I do have a discount code down below where you can get it cheaper than you could anywhere else. To start off with, I want to talk about the similarities between both of these. If you haven't noticed, they look extremely similar. You might be like, which one's better? Which one should I get? They look like they're the same thing. Maybe they were made in the same factory. Now, there are actually some key differences between these two, but some of the similarities are like the material looks very similar. They both fold the same way where you push in right here and it would just fold up. They both do the exact same thing that way. They both actually have this thick cover on the top. I just don't have this one on right now. They both have the same stoves. Just one says Sweat Tent, one says Kayf. They even have the same buckets with just different logos on it. So first appearances, you're like, wow, there are a lot of similarities here, but there are also a lot of differences. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This is gonna come down to preference. I use the Sweat Tent like 3 to 5 times a week for over a year. And then I've been using this one a lot more recently just because I wanted to test it out. And obviously they're both really solid. Let's talk about windows. So the Kayf actually has almost 360-degree windows, where the only part that is not a window is actually the door of the Kayf. The rest of it you can see through. They also fold up from the inside versus the outside. Like the little inside of that wraps up. Now with the Sweat Tent, we just have these 3 panels, which are windows. And then the rest of it is not a window. You can't really look through it. So that would be one thing where I kind of think the Kayf, I like having the windows everywhere. There's more light inside. I kind of like that. Honestly, not really a big difference. These also peel off from the outside. You can see these are a little dirty. I could clean them. I just haven't, to be fair. But these peel off on the outside. The other ones roll up on the inside. So slightly different, but very similar. Another big difference is going to be the size. The Kayf is definitely a little bit bigger. I'll put the dimensions of both of them up on screen right now. What does that really mean though? Mainly, it means that you could probably fit another bench in the Kayf if you wanted to. You could probably fit 3 in there if you wanted to, but whoever is gonna be closest to the fire is gonna be the hottest. That's kind of how it works. So we just have 1 bench in there. But either way, functionality wise, I don't think there's a huge difference between the two. Again, you have slightly bigger, but if you mostly do it by yourself, then smaller would probably heat up faster. Bigger is better if you have people that you're doing it with. So again, that one's kind of preference things. I definitely like having a little more room. Like when we have friends over, when we're sweating it out together, we want to have, you know, a little more space, but how often do you really have more than like 3 people in there? I don't know. Another big difference here is the flooring. The Kayf has a floor, the Sweat Tent does not. Now this is just material that kind of rolls out, it velcros to the side. I really like having this personally. The ground would get very wet and muddy underneath the Sweat Tent. So if you do have anything as a floor, that would probably be better, like wood or stone or something like that. But if you do have something that could be a floor, like this was on a deck or whatever, I think that would be better than this. And that would work with the Sweat Tent as well. They do have floors that you can buy, but having this floor has been really, really nice. Just like since I leave mine up all the time, kind of gets muddy, at least in the Sweat Tent usually. But either way you do it, wherever you put this up, just realize you're gonna kill a giant square of grass and it's never gonna come back. Like I said, this stove and the new one from Sweat Tent look very similar, even where they have like just a Sweat Tent and this one says Kayf, so pretty similar. But this does have stones that kind of go all the way around the pipe, whereas the Sweat Tent rock thing just is in the back, so there's actually more stones and more surface area, so you can create more steam. I do kind of like that. It's kind of cool, but does it make your experience any different? I don't really think so, honestly. Pretty much the same thing. The Kayf also does have this little pocket right here where you can put stuff in. I personally don't really use it. I prefer to keep things outside of my sauna, but it has it. A very slight difference here is the Sweat Tent has this one seam that goes all the way around, and this one right here has this little break in the middle, and then it's kind of alternate directions. This one gets stuck occasionally, which is somewhat annoying. Let's see if I can get it to do it. I don't know. It's a very minor thing. It's not even happening right now. Oh look, they both have their logos on the same spot. Again, if you do want to check one of these out, I have a discount code which makes it cheaper than you could get it on the website down below. It also helps support the channel a little bit, so I really appreciate everybody who's been using that. Now this one does have this little flap right here that also has like a little window that you can put in, so it could be another window, or you can use it as ventilation. This on the side that doesn't have a window. You can tell this one's definitely older, where it used to be this color and now it's much lighter. Definitely a little more worn, but also about 1.5 years older than the Kayf. The material here at the bottom is slightly different. The Sweat Tent is much thicker. This is not. I don't think that really matters, to be honest. You'll notice that this does have tie downs And the sweat tent does as well. I just moved it over here, so I haven't set it up yet. So you usually don't keep both of them set up at the same time. But they both have tie downs, they both have the covers, they both have stakes that kind of drive in here, which you're definitely gonna wanna put all of that in if you do get either one of these, because when the wind hits this, knocks everything over, it's crazy. So you wanna stake it, you wanna tie it down. I even put like cinder blocks around the outsides occasionally when I have it like somewhere permanently. And I guess those are the main differences. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these. It's gonna be really solid for a really long time. They're both pretty much the exact same price. And for me personally, I've definitely gotten my value out of both of them because of the amount I use them. There's nothing else that gets rid of my shoulder pain like going in either one of these. And I've gotten them both up to over 200 degrees. They're absolutely epic. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other questions that you'd like me to clarify, feel free to leave a comment down below.